Welcome to the Bourbon Master. I'm your host, Chris Wilkie, and tonight we're going to try Blue Run Kentucky Straight Reflection 1 Bourbon Whiskey. We got 95 proof. That's 47.5% alcohol by volume, and it's a very nice little bottle. Actually, a friend gave this to me, so a shout out to Ryan. Thank you if you're watching this video. I'm going to try this and give you my honest take on it. So if you've never had this, I don't think I've had either. It says meticulously balanced sweet and spicy bourbon, hand bottled in Bardstown, Kentucky by Blue Run Spirits, LLC. I will tell you, I was down there in Bardstown probably about 5-6 years ago. I don't remember this. I don't remember if they were around or not. I will say, cool stuff. So number one, got a nice little metal butterfly on the bottle. Silver, I'm guessing this is the silver one. I was doing a little research on it. They kind of changed the color of the butterfly. That's their thing. If you look at the label here, it says that we were batch fall, bottle 1731, date August 31st, 2022, and I've got a 4984 under that. So if you look at the bottle itself, and I'm not sure you can see this with the camera, it's called Reflection. So actually one of the cool little marketing things I saw is that the back of it has reflected over itself. So you can tell I'm literally just opening this. So let's give it a pour here. I'm going to try to use my bourbon wheel without sitting here walking through it all to kind of give you guys a rundown of this one tonight. So, right off the bat, I'm smelling some spice. I think it's a little rye. I'm also getting a little leather, clove, some cinnamon too. So, kind of in that ballpark of, I'm going to guess, and I don't know the spice profile here or the grain profile, but I'm going to guess it was heavy in the rye. So let's give myself a little pour here, a little taste. Okay. It's holding good on the cinnamon. I really think that it's got this spice profile there. A little bit of the baked goods as well. I think that's kind of sits in that. I'm tasting oak, but a little bit of cedar would be in that ballpark. Let's give it a little sip. Okay, that's got, for being only 40, let's see, what was the proof again on this? 95 proof. It's got a little bit of a kick. I think that has a little bit of an alcohol burn on the front. And it's a very nice taste. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use my bourbon wheel anyway. Wood. I'm tasting the oak. It's a little toasted. You can taste that. I am getting a little pine and cedar and a little bit of almond in here. I want to have say pecan. It's not there, and I don't think there's walnut there, but it's definitely a heavy wood. And the mouthfeel is very viscous. I think it's got a little bit more of a thick taste to it. I'm not sure if that's a possibility, but I'm definitely tasting it. So tasting this, it's got a tad bit of sweetness. And I think this comes from some cereal malts that are in there that I'm kind of tasting. Not sure if it's the case. Kind of making this stuff up as I go. I'm not sure it's the corn sweet that I've had in the other bottles of stuff. Now, on the grain side, heavy rye. Maybe the cereal malts I'm tasting are actually the rye, and the rye is personifying itself in the spice and the graininess that's in here, but I definitely taste heavy rye. If I was in a blind taste test right now, I would probably be semi-confused if this was a rye or a bourbon. Not a bad thing, but it's got really that good spice note to it. So, speaking of spice, leather, coffee, tobacco, no tobacco. Could taste a little leather. There's a little bit of that chocolatey malt of chocolate, but I wouldn't say it's overpowering. It's kind of just a hint of chocolate. In the aromatics, I didn't taste mint, no licorice, no herbal tea, maybe a slight bit of clove, definitely some cinnamon, and I'm not catching a real peppery finish with this. I'm tasting more of that rye spice than a pepper spice. So we get into the sweet. It is definitely baked goods. I can taste the chocolate and the baked goods here. So I mentioned there's a little bit of the coffee. I think that it's a little bit of that blending. So if I was drinking a beer, this is on the borderline of like one of those amber ales. It's in that ballpark. I'm not tasting a lot of toffee, honey, or butterscotch. It's not an overly candied bourbon. I think that's why I shied away from some of that corn flavor earlier too. Buttery. I don't taste maple syrup. You get the vanilla. There's some caramel in that roastiness there. So I could go a little bit that direction. And then fruit and floral. No rose, no potpourri. And in fruits, I'm getting maybe a hint of coconut, maybe a light one there. I'm catching a bit of apple, and I really think that's about it. So I'm not seeing much else out of that. So looking at this again, I think I definitely taste some wood. I've got some oak and I got some cedar in here. Got the almond flavor around. I really have a heavy spice that's coming out of the grain. I think there's a slight bit of coffee, but I really think I'm tasting more cinnamon and clove in the aromatics. Really more the cinnamon, not as much the clove. It's heavy on the baked goods, but it's more of a deep, rich, like more malty baked good with the spice. I'm getting vanilla and caramel. I'm not getting a lot of that candied in here. When I'm tasting the fruits, I'm tasting maybe just a little hint of coconut, and I'm getting a little bit of apple as well, but that's more in the smell, not in the taste. I'm not getting any of that potpourri or rose stuff. I'd really be interested if I can find a bottle that has that. So overall, very good bottle. I would definitely drink this. It might be a little spicy for some people. If I was going to give it a critique, be a tad spicy. I'm not mad with it. It's going to be how you want it. If you're a rye fan, this is going to be in your ballpark. And if you like a good, tasty bourbon, it's there. Just got a little bit of that spice note there. So, overall ratings, I'd give it in that, like, going 10 stars, I'd go about 7.5. Do I think this is great? Yes. A little over in the spicy, and it feels like it has a boozy note to it too, but I enjoy it. 7.5, 8-ish in that range. I would get this bottle again. I would be happy to sit and enjoy this. I would probably put this on the rocks to mellow out the spice, just a hair. I'm not talking like a big heap of rocks. I'm talking just a little bit of like a few in there. But I do want to thank you, Ryan, for sharing the bottle with me. And I appreciate that. Anybody wants to share a bottle, I'm always open for trying and giving my tasting notes on it. You give me a little Boston one that they have, or a big bottle. I don't really care. So I appreciate it. Again, we tasted Blue Run. This is Reflection number 1. It was good. So if you're out there, I would consider trying this, especially if you can get it at a restaurant. I think before you buy a whole bottle, go try it somewhere. If you want to sample and never had it, let me know. I may be able to get you one, send it to you, and you can give it a try too. Someone shared this with me. I'd love to share it with you. So, as always, when we end the evening, cheers, Ron. Thanks for watching the videos, and I will see you all in the next video.